Important function, group by and numeric functions. Okay. Now, count is a very common function that you would find in SQL. Count is obviously used for counting different things, right? So for example, let's say select star from address. Address is the table that we are operating, and you want to count the number of records. Of course, here it will show you 603 rows. But if you want to count the number of rows, you can just do a count of star. Okay, select count of star from address. It will give you 603, right? Okay. Now we know that the address table has, let's look at the address table. Address table has address ID, address, and address too. Let's try to count individual columns values, right? For example, something like this. Select count of star will count the total number of records. Count of address will count the addresses. Count of address 2 will count the address 2s. Okay. Now if I run this, see this. Count of star gave you 603. Count of address gave you 603. Whereas count of address gave you 599. Why do you think it gave 599? Right. So the count function does not count null values. It will count blank values, of course, because if you look at address 2, there are lots of blank values. It will count all the blank values, but it will not count the null values. Null is absolutely empty. There's nothing. Right? Okay. Questions? Okay, no questions. Now, you see these districts here. Yesterday I spoke about the group by function, right? I hope you remember it. No, I just use count address to let you know the difference of this. Count will not count null values. Count will count all the blank values also, or all the filled values, just to show you the difference. So yesterday I talked about the group by function, right? Group by is like your summary function in Excel. Here, what I'm doing is, for each district, I'm counting the number of addresses. Okay, for each district, I'm counting the number of addresses. The difference between the previous query and this query is, I'm using a group by statement. So what does it mean? It means that for each district I'm counting. Okay, this is very important concept, this group by. If I run this, you will see that for each district it is counted. Now before I want to explain this concept to you because it's very important, right? Why did I open Edge? Let me open Excel. So this is district. This is address. Buenos Aires. And let's say there is Mumbai. Now don't tell me Mumbai is not a district, I know it, but this is just for explanation, okay? Bengaluru. And address, I'll put some random values. Okay. You can see my Excel file, right? Okay. Now, if I had to count the addresses for Buenos Aires, what is the first thing that I was going to do? I would select this, right? And I would remove duplicates, right? So then I would get these 3 unique values. This is what group by also does. It removes duplicates on this district. If you go here, group by district, it will first consider the unique values. After it considers the unique values, whatever summary function is there, it will apply on this column which is present in the group by clause. It's an important concept. I'll tell you why. Okay. Now just run this code. All of you understood this concept, right? Of how group by works? Okay. Some other examples here is I'm using having, right? Having works after your select from and group by, correct? If let's say I run this, I'll get only those districts where the count of addresses are more than 5. A way to get distinct values from a column is by using this function called distinct. Okay, select distinct district from address. Okay, if I do this, I run it, you will get 378 rows and you will get all the distinct districts, right? If I only do this and not have any summary functions and run this, it will give me the same value. Okay, now what I want you to concentrate on is, in your action window, you see the duration. When I use distinct, it was 0.016 seconds. And when I use just group by, it is 0.000 seconds. Now, this is just on a table with 600 rows. Just imagine if you're going to use distinct on a table with 1 million rows, what will be the time? Your SQL will crash, okay? Because even though distinct is a operator in SQL, in MySQL, it is advisable not to use distinct operation. If you want to find out the distinct values of any column, it is best to use group by instead of distinct, and that's why I explained it in Excel. That concept has to be very clear. Okay, I hope you understood. One more interesting table is the film table. Okay, let's look at the film table. Select star from film. Film table is really interesting because it has measures as well, like what is the film ID, title, description, release year, the language ID. Okay, now if you come here, you will see that there is something called rating, right? Rating is the rating given. You see the special features here, deleted scenes, behind the scenes. It's more than one value, right? So is it first normal form or 0th normal form? It is like not normal. Yeah, it is the 0th normal form, right? Because there is like more than one value. So that's what I told yesterday, that in a database, there will be tables with different normal forms. Okay, now you see this is like the 0th normal form, but that active table was maybe second normal form or third normal form, right? Okay. Now let's look at the distinct ratings. What are the different ratings available, right? So I'll use a group by. So there are 5 different kinds of rating. There is PG, which is parental guidance, G, which is for general audience, NC 17, that means 17 and above, PG 13 is 13 and above, and R is rated R, right? Adult movie. Okay. these are some numeric functions that you can use. When we said select star from film, there was rental rate, rental duration, length, and so on and so forth, right? So here for each release year, I'm looking at the minimum rental duration, maximum rental duration, sum of rental duration, and average rental duration, right? Now when I run this, so there is just one release year in this whole table. Okay. Now let's add more columns to it. See this, select rating and release year, sum of rental duration and average rental duration. Okay. Let's run this. You will see that for each rating, there is a sum of rental duration and average rental duration. So PG or NC-17 movies had the highest average. On average, they were rented for around 5.1 days.